Next conversation is one that will leave your mind refreshed. We spoke about stressful factors a moment ago, and I think you could tell that maybe we were worried about the financial stresses we have in our lives. But despite that, there are always opportunities abound. Opportunities that we as entrepreneurs typically do dig deep into in terms of making sure that we are able to not only seek the financial fulfillment that we desire, but also making a difference in the lives of people, companies, and environments and societies that we happen to be exposed to. Our next entrepreneur is someone who knows exactly all about this, helping us really dig deeper into AI, using it in terms of sustainability and effectiveness when it comes to soliciting the right data and information from our organizations, but also the companies that we interact with. Not only has he done this as a co-founder and CEO of the business that he runs, but partnered with many peers to make sure that they have come up with the solutions that businesses typically need, or might not even be aware that they need, when it comes to making sure that you actively use software as a way to extrapolate the data and information that you require to really help your business leverage off of new opportunities that can catapult your growth in terms of scale. I'm hoping I'm describing this effectively, but the man in studio is going to tell us so much more about this, especially when it comes to not only using and creating this information system, or rather a software system to help us grow our businesses, but how his experience as an entrepreneur has also brought about opportunities for him to raise capital and therefore explore opportunities to scale.
Let's get down. Kaya Biz. Let's get down to business. On the street.
On the air.
Just after 7:30, and of course you can tell there's a lot to discuss here. I'm excited about this business. It's called the Awareness Company. Not just that, but it also has phenomenal solutions in terms of software platforms and a software as a service startup. We're having recently launched the likes called of Hydro. But to tell us more, we're joined by Priaash Ramadeen, co-founder and CEO of the Awareness Company. Such a pleasure to have you, sir.
So happy to be here, Gugu. Thank you for having us.
I'm excited to speak to you. I must tell you, initially the hook was how your business was able to raise capital, but I thought, hold on. You guys just have a phenomenal story as the Awareness Company itself and what it is that you actually do in the market. Maybe let's start there. Data, AI, helping individuals and businesses source the necessary data from their companies to use, I guess, as gold to seek further growth. How does it all work, and how do you do what you do?
Yeah, no, this is such a common question, and I love to take you through it. So let's simplify it, right? Mm-hmm. So data can be this really complex thing, and people don't like it, and we're here to change that. So fundamentally, our business mission is to make data joyful and easy to use. Mm-hmm. And those two words don't go together, data and joy.
Yes.
You think, spreadsheet, or this database, or this dashboard. So we're here to simplify it, make it easy to use, so that anyone in the organization can leverage the power of data. Data is this force multiplier. It's this thing that can scale and help create this awareness, and we want to make it easy to use for everyone in the business.
And maybe that's the point we need to understand, because to really extrapolate data, as you say, it's, for many, you think of an Excel spreadsheet, and I could scratch my eyeballs just thinking about those numbers and metrics to work through. And it's typically the graphics and how the information is presented that does make a difference, but also the detail in the data and what that actually tells us. Help us understand how Hydra makes this effective and easy to use for the customers that you serve.
Well, that's our biggest trick. So we worked for many years, our backstory working in defense, and where we learned how to actually work with data and software and systems and AI. And so the idea came about is, can we simplify this in a software product that takes away that complexity? Mm-hmm. So how does a CFO, a CEO, a facility manager, someone out there on the ground in the field leverage the data? So we created a software product called Hydra.
Yes.
And Hydra is essentially a product that works on phones, laptops, and so forth, but it is data agnostic. So it can stream in data from multiple sources, mobile phones, Internet of Things, sensors, it pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
And what we do then is we abstract all of this, we put it into Hydra, it goes through automatically and automatedly creates outputs and insights for an organization to use, so that you don't have to wrangle with that spreadsheet or that dashboard or anything like that. You spend more time on the outputs, on the insights,
Yes.
and get more business value.
100%. I'm glad that you've explained it that way, because now this takes me to the video I saw on your website where it actually someone punched in data. It took them to a map in that location, and then you were able to extract data. For a station like ours, for a show like ours, does this mean that you could tell us who's listening, where they're listening from, how long they're listening for? I guess that's the practicalities of what I want to get to.
100%, and it's all about value.
Yes.
So what value can we extract from the data, and how long can we do it, and how long do we take to actually get to that value? So for this radio station, I was actually thinking about it. Driving past,
Oh, yeah.
this is a building. I'm like, okay, this building is consuming energy, it's consuming water, there's waste, there's people in it, the workforce, there's vehicles moving in and out of it, there's financial transactions happening, you have listeners, you want to improve the experience.
Yes.
Now what we do is we'll combine all of that data into one single pane of view so you can understand it easily.
100%. And this is the success that you've actually created through Hydra. Hydra in itself has actually then gone on to an investment roadshow, if I'm not mistaken. You and your colleagues have been hard at work, I can imagine, pitching and sharing your ideas about how Hydra works. And as a result, you've been able to secure 30 million rand in funding. I hope I'm allowed to say the number.
Yes, 100%.
We want you alive.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
That's huge, though, because this tells us that there's a heightened level of focus and investment then in AI companies like yourselves.
Yes, and a big shout out to the investors that have aligned themselves with our vision and believe in us as founders. And yes, we've raised this money to grow and scale, and to put more into the product, to educate the market as well.
Yes.
Data is still this misnomer, like you said earlier, scratching your eyes out.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of education into, okay, what is this thing actually, can it do for us?
Exactly.
And how do we do it now?
Exactly. And I think this is important, Priaash. I do want to get to the data conversation again before we conclude, but I do want us to talk about the journey, because as you said, you didn't just wake up one day and like, oh, well, I want to start this data-driven company. You have worked incredibly hard, not only in terms of your background as an engineer, but also working in this realm of defense at the CSIR. And then, of course, starting this business more than 10 years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
It's about 6 years.
6 years ago, yes, to make sure that you're seeing some level of growth. What's that been like? Because I think it's important that entrepreneurs also know that you didn't wake up and land on this particular level of funding. It's testing, retesting, pitching, repitching, reworking the strategy and the solution, and even, I guess, the agnostics around how Hydra does work to make sure that regardless of which client you go to, you're able to offer them a quality rated service. Yeah,
100%. I love the question. And, for listeners out there and aspiring entrepreneurs, we still call ourselves aspiring entrepreneurs.
Aspiring? After the amazing work you do?
Still. This journey is not easy.
Yeah.
And it's not designed to be easy. And I always tell people it's about 100 times harder than we thought it's going to be when we started.
That's realistic. Right. Coming from an entrepreneur with skin in the game.
100%. And the journey is one of discovery. You kind of discovery and resilience is how I like to call it. And nothing is easy. You come, you get a whole bunch you get 10 no's before you get one yes. That's the reality. You got to keep testing. You got to keep building. You got to, have the right people around you to align so you have that energy, the motivation, because every single day is like a roller coaster.
100%.
And that's how our journey has been, one of discovery. And it's led us to this point in time where we said we want partners that can help us. We want people to come in and sort of guide us, mentor us, but grow with us.
Yes.
And these investors are coming in, and that's what they're doing. And they believe in us, and that's where the funding has sort of come from.
This is also such a unique time to be within the space that you're in, because I'm just reminded a few weeks ago of DeepSeek and OpenAI and these huge debates. And I think when we read these headlines for us as consumers, we often think, oh my word, this is just the world trying to spy on us. And someone might also be sitting and thinking, well, okay, you talk about all this data and using this information around the building, the people in it, the people outside of it, and how to use these solutions. But when we think of AI and even data, what should our understanding of it be to avoid the fear factor that it's literally just being exposed and perhaps having a post-mortem done on you whilst you're alive to extrapolate as much information about you as possible?
Yeah, this goes back to the education component of data, and organizations are very sensitive about their data. It is their IP, in a way, and what makes them competitive and how they actually leverage it and use it. But from a technology perspective, AI is a little bit of a buzz at the moment.
It is.
But I like to use this analogy, and I often use it. Once upon a time, a spade was this revolutionary technology. Once upon a time.
Yes.
And you can decide what to do with the spade. You can use it as a spoon. You can hit someone over the head with it. Or you can sort of, dig a hole faster than you ever could before. And AI is similar now, but it's on such a massive scale. So it depends how we leverage it. And the data integrity that goes with it. That's what gives AI the power. It's your data. So take care of your data, but don't be afraid of it.
And I'm glad that you mentioned this. Earlier we had a conversation around loyalty programs between the big retailers as well as some of the banks, and that's all data. They know what we're eating, when we're buying it, the kind of products that we purchase, how often we make those purchases, and I guess they reward us as well to say, oh well, here's a discount or an incentive then to ensure that there's shared value. How should entrepreneurs of small and medium-sized entities be considering AI as well as the use of data? Because we typically tend to shy away from it, right, and think, I can't afford you and your team at Hydra, but can we?
Of course you can. Yeah, we have a model that caters to all. No, but see, this is the thing about data. It's often left as a side thing. We will create this report later. And we're encouraging everyone, and it takes education and it takes an understanding of what it can do for you. So don't be afraid of it, but have the consideration, how am I going to leverage it? Ask yourself those questions. And if you don't know where to start, there's people out there that is really eagerly waiting to help.
Exactly. And in terms of the efficiencies for your clients and customers, because someone might still be sitting with a critical eye and thinking, well, I'll have all this data, but now what do I do? You used our building as an example. And I can already think of so many solutions that you could bring to the table that will result in financial outcomes. Help us make this practical.
Yeah, it's all about the return on investment. At its heart, your product needs to either save someone's money or help them make more money. And that's what it resolves down to. So what Hydra does really well, is taking that data and then producing one of those two outcomes. In addition to those two outcomes, there's the whole sustainability side, which you want to keep an eye on. And then there's the joy side. And so we want to put all of that together in one thing.
100%. Priaash, I don't want to let you go, but there's so much that we want to explore, and we never know who's listening. There might be someone else looking to sign a check. There might be someone who's keen to learn and work with you, or even partners who actually want to collaborate with you and solicit your services. So where do we find you and the team, and how do we also need to make sure that we're ready before we just say, oh, Priaash, just have a look at my building, because it doesn't work that way.
100%. So awarenesscompany.co.za, and I'm very active on LinkedIn. You just search for my name, Priaash, that's Priaash, and you'll find me easily.
100%. We wish you all the best. May this be the beginning of many more rounds of funding, and of course maybe further growth as well internationally, and wherever the world really takes you. So all the best to you and the team, and really exciting to hear so much of what you've done.
Awesome. Thank you, Gugu.
Thank you. That's Priaash Ramadeen, co-founder and CEO of the Awareness Company, joining us this evening to tell us more, not only around how this business centered around AI and, of course, data and science is growing in itself, but also helping to revolutionize the growth of businesses in South Africa and beyond. It's 17 minutes to 8 o'clock.